Once upon a time, in a grand kingdom filled with sunshine and laughter, lived a beautiful princess. She had everything a princess could ever wish for: dazzling gowns, sparkling jewels, and a castle with 100 rooms. But her most prized possession was a magnificent golden ball. It wasn't just any ball, it shimmered with the light of 1,000 stars, and she loved it more than anything else in the world. One sunny afternoon, the princess went to play near a deep, cool well in the castle gardens. She tossed her golden ball high into the air, catching it with a giggle as it came down. Up it went, higher and higher, a glittering speck against the bright blue sky. But on one throw, her hands missed, and she watched in horror as her precious golden ball tumbled through the air, bounced once on the stone edge of the well, and then, splash! It disappeared into the dark, murky water below. The princess rushed to the edge and peered in, but she couldn't see anything. The well was far too deep. Her heart sank, and tears began to stream down her cheeks. She sat on the edge of the well, sobbing as if her heart would break. "Oh, my golden ball!" she cried. "I would give anything to have it back. My clothes, my jewels, even my crown, if only I could have my golden ball again." Suddenly, she heard a small, croaky voice. "Why are you crying, oh princess? Your tears could melt a heart of stone." She looked around, bewildered, but saw no one. "Who's there?" she asked, wiping her eyes. "Down here," the voice croaked again. The princess looked down and saw a small, green frog with big, bulging eyes, poking its head out of the water. It was rather slimy and not at all what you'd expect to find having a conversation with. "Oh, it's only you, old water splasher," she said, a little disappointed. "I'm crying because my golden ball has fallen into your well." The frog blinked its big eyes slowly. "I can help you," it said. "I can dive down and get your golden ball." "But what will you give me in return?" The princess's face lit up. "Oh, anything you want, dear frog," she exclaimed. "You can have my finest silk dresses, my pearl necklaces, my sparkling tiara. Just bring me back my ball." The frog shook its head slowly. "I have no need for your fine clothes or jewels, princess. But if you will love me, and let me be your companion and playmate, if I can sit by you at your little table, eat from your little golden plate, drink out of your little golden cup, and sleep in your little silken bed, if you promise me all this, I will dive down and fetch your golden ball for you." The princess thought to herself, "What a silly frog. How could he possibly leave his well and live in the castle with me? He'll just have to stay in the water with his own kind." So, not really meaning it, she quickly agreed. "Oh yes," she said aloud. "I promise you all of that. Now please, hurry and get my ball." Hearing her promise, the frog dipped its head under the water and disappeared. A few moments later, it reappeared with the golden ball in its mouth and tossed it onto the grass beside her. The princess was overjoyed. She snatched up her precious toy and, without a second thought for the little frog, she ran back toward the castle as fast as her legs could carry her. "Wait, wait," croaked the frog, hopping after her. "Take me with you. I can't run as fast as you." But the princess didn't listen. She slammed the heavy castle door behind her, completely forgetting about the poor frog and the promise she had made. The next day, as the princess was having dinner with her father, the king, and all the royal court, they heard a strange noise. It was a faint splish-splash sound coming up the marble staircase, followed by a tiny knock at the door. Then, a little voice called out, "Princess, young princess, open the door for me." The princess, curious, went to see who it could be. When she opened the grand dining room door, she was shocked to see the little green frog sitting on the step. She quickly slammed the door shut and ran back to her seat, her face pale. The king, a wise and just ruler, saw her fright. "My child, what is the matter?" he asked. "Is there a giant at the door who has come to carry you away?" "Oh no, father," she whispered. "It is not a giant, but a dreadful frog." "A frog?" "And what does a frog want with you?" the king inquired. She told him everything that had happened at the well the day before, and how she had promised the frog he could be her companion in exchange for her golden ball. Just as she finished her story, there was another knock, and the little voice called out again, "Princess, young princess, open the door for me. Have you forgotten your promise, made by the cool well's water? Princess, young princess, open the door for me." The king looked at his daughter with a stern but fair expression. "A promise is a promise," he said firmly. "What you have promised, you must keep. Go and let him in." With a heavy heart, the princess walked to the door and opened it. The frog hopped in and followed her right to her chair. "Lift me up beside you," it croaked. She hesitated, but one look from her father told her she had no choice. Reluctantly, she lifted the cold, damp frog and placed it on the chair next to her. But the frog wasn't satisfied. "I want to eat from your golden plate," it insisted. The princess pushed her little golden plate closer, and the frog ate its fill. She could barely eat a bite herself. After dinner, the frog declared, "I am tired. Now, carry me upstairs to your little bedroom so I may sleep in your little silken bed." This was too much for the princess. The thought of this cold, slimy frog in her beautiful, clean bed made her shiver with disgust, and she began to cry again. But the king's voice was stern. "He helped you when you were in trouble," he reminded her. "You made a promise, and you must not break it. It is not right to turn your back on someone who helped you in your time of need." Knowing she must obey, the princess carefully picked up the frog with 2 fingers and carried it up to her room. She set it down in a corner, as far from her bed as possible. But as she got into her bed, the frog hopped over. "I am tired, and I want to sleep as well as you," it croaked. "Lift me up, or I shall tell your father." Furious, the princess snatched the frog from the floor. But instead of putting it on her pillow, she threw it with all her might against the wall. "Now you will be quiet, you wretched frog," she cried. But as the frog hit the wall, a strange thing happened. It didn't fall to the floor as a slimy frog. Instead, it transformed. In its place stood a handsome young prince with kind, smiling eyes. He looked at the stunned princess and explained that a wicked witch had turned him into a frog, and he could only be set free by a princess's promise. "You have broken the spell," he said gently. "Even though you were unwilling at first, you ultimately kept your word, and that has set me free." The princess was amazed and felt a pang of guilt for how she had treated him. The king, hearing the commotion, came into the room and was delighted to see the prince. With the king's blessing, the prince and princess soon became the best of friends. The next morning, a magnificent golden carriage pulled by 8 white horses arrived to take the prince back to his own kingdom, and he asked the princess to go with him. She gladly agreed. And as for the little frog who taught her a very important lesson, he was now a prince, and she his faithful companion, ready for a new adventure. They rode off together, and they lived happily ever after, always remembering that a promise, once given, must always be kept. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more classic tales. See you next time.